everyone. It's Jennifer Booker with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Florida Realty, and I am interviewing a guest today. My guest is the Managing Director of First Trust Mortgage, a division of Hamilton Group Funding. He has been in lending in Florida for 37 years. He focuses entirely on residential mortgages, which is why he opened First Trust Mortgage in 1996. As an industry expert, he has been interviewed on NBC6 and has produced a segment on NPR. Please welcome Alan Robinson.
Good morning, Jennifer.
Good morning. Thank you for being here today. So I wanted to interview you today so that you could give us a little more information on the program that you guys have right now, which is the Hamilton for Heroes program.
What we did, Jennifer, is I think it was mid-2019, we decided that we wanted to give back to the community with some mortgage initiatives. And one of the first starting points was with veterans. We really love working with veterans. And so we came up with a discount program that we would waive the processing and underwriting fee for veterans. And we called it Hamilton for Heroes. The program went great. So we expanded it, and what we did then was we brought into the same program early responders, fighters, police officers, people who were helping the general public, and this was way before COVID. It just turned out to be a good program. And what happens is we waive our underwriting fee and our processing fee. So a typical consumer is going to save about $1,600. And I think, you know, on the real estate side, closing costs on a $300,000 type place could be $5,000. So if you can waive $1,500, $1,600, that's a big savings to the consumer that they could either bring less cash to close or they can buy down their interest rate and get a little better deal that way. And that obviously gives them more money than the $1,600. So
that's great.
It's went wonderfully well. And last month we opened it up to nurses and PAs, and trying to expand it a little bit further because it's been so successful. And obviously with COVID, there's no doubt those folks earned it.
Definitely. That's amazing. Can you also expand a little bit more on what a buyer pays when they need to get a loan, just so everyone has an idea of what it is that they're paying when they're purchasing a loan, pretty much?
Sure. And let's focus on Palm Beach County for this, because it's a little bit different than everybody else. What happens as a rule of thumb is, and again, you can do $1 million loan, you can do a $50,000 loan, but let's stay in the middle. Let's say in that $200,000 or $300,000 price point. As a rule of thumb, a consumer is going to spend about $5,000 in closing costs. And regardless of what a lender estimates or what a realtor estimates, we're all going to be the same at the closing for the most part because we're just estimating. And then when we get the real numbers in over time, what the real title charge is, what the real documentary stamps are, what the survey costs, those things, then we get a better number. But as a rule of thumb, on a $250,000 place in Palm Beach, it'd be somewhere around $5,000. And then when you take $1,600 off that, it's only $3,400. So it makes a big difference, especially on the first-time home buyer and that middle bracket. On $1 million place, it doesn't mean a lot, but on that middle person, it means a lot.
Definitely. Okay, wonderful. And finally, I did want to ask you, I've been getting this question often from clients that are thinking of moving down here from New York, Connecticut, New Jersey, and even my local clients who have, been in their home and maybe they want to buy something bigger, but they're hesitant on listing because they know their home is going to go fairly quickly and they need to find something to purchase, which, as you know, with our tight inventory, that could take a little bit longer. So what are some of the options that buyers and sellers have right now to maybe still stay in their home, purchase a new one, and then sell theirs because they know they're not going to have to carry it for too long?
Yeah, and I think this is an important conversation, Jennifer, because I think you do business similar to the way I do business in that we're always trying to put our consumers' best interest in front. And back to, we'll give advice when asked, but it's more of an information thing.
Mhm.
to deal with. In that here, there's no perfect world. So we give them all the option. And I would tell you, if I give 10 different options with 10 different people, I'm getting 10 different solutions because it's personal finance. And that's where mortgage planning went back in 03, 04, 05 when we came up with that designation, whether it be picking the right loan or the right strategy. And that's why most people realize that a mortgage is not a commodity like a can of tomato paste or I don't know, a golf ball. They know there's an advice component like a doctor or an attorney.
Mhm.
So let's take that person, for example, that's coming down from up north. They have a house to sell. They can choose to sell. Traditionally, they have sold it and they come down with a bucket of cash and they buy a home for cash. That's what typically happens. And that may not be the best solution because they want to get in at today's prices, today's interest rates, or they don't know exactly what they want. It's various. So in that particular case, we've suggested a line of credit on the property up north. Then they're basically getting cash and they're coming down here as a cash buyer. The next person comes and says, yeah, that's great, but besides the cash, I'm going to need $200,000 to get a new mortgage. Well, that might be where we're counseling them to do it now while they have their job up north before they resign or before they retire. Because as soon as they retire, they might not be able to qualify for a mortgage. Sometimes it's buying it as a second home, getting the
Mhm.
closing all done, and then they sell up north, and then they come down, and it goes from a second home into a primary. We've done it where they bought an investment property. So it's really personal finance. We got to dive deeper with that client. I think most people know there's no ideal world, and what we just do is give them the information that's particular to them so they can make the best decision and save the most money.
Okay, wonderful. Well, thank you so much for all of this information. It definitely helps. I hope everyone out there who's, thinking of purchasing a home and they don't really know where to go or where to start. So, Alan, please share with us how someone can get a hold of you if they just want to start that mortgage planning, like you mentioned, which is so important. And if they have any extra questions on what we've talked about today, how can they reach you?
You got it. I'd be glad to help anyway, Jennifer. Best way to reach me is typical by cell phone, 954-415-6133. You could visit my website at www.borrowsmart.biz, or my email address is Allen, ALLEN, at ftmcloans.com.
Okay, great. And you also have a little giveaway. Tell us a little bit about the book that you wrote. If anyone has some feedback, some comments on today's interview, and if they want to share, ask some other topics that would like us, to bring to them.
You got it, Jennifer. What I think we're being forced into being movie stars versus realtors and mortgage people. So we're always looking for suggestions on content or how to make our product a little bit better. And yes, you're right. I'm going to reach for it. In 2010, we founded a company called the Education Institute of America, where a dozen of us around the country got together to write, and that's where the website comes from, Borrow Smart, Retire Rich. And I'll give you an example. It's kind of funny. Just this morning before you and I talked, I had a client call in about a refinance, and they wanted to go from a 30-year loan to a 30-year loan and pick up interest rate savings.
Mhm.
That was great. We're going to pick up over 1% in interest rate, but I saw where if we did a 20-year term versus a 30-year term, their payment only went up $100, and they were able to save $70,000 in interest.
Nice.
So that's where that, making one minor decision just increased somebody's net worth by $70,000. And there's little things like that. Not a trick. It's more just tactics and strategies around making sure people are doing the right thing with their money so they have it for retirement and for other things. So yes, if anybody would like a copy, just give us an idea on some content or what we can do better. If you hate my North Carolina background, that's okay too. So it's Borrow Smart, Retire Rich.
Okay, great. Well, thank you so much. If anyone has any questions on the market and would like to reach me, my website is jenniferbooker.com, and you can always call or text at 561-500-0102. Thank you again, Alan, for being here with us today and giving us some more information on the program that you have for the frontline workers. We really appreciate them and you for bringing that program to them.
You're welcome, Jennifer. Have a good weekend.
You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.